Going live. You're live. You might be live. 1 second. It always takes a minute for me to get this thing. And make sure it's actually recording. I hit some button and the whole thing vanished. And usually when it does that, it makes me restart the whole process. And this time I had to do that, but without having to delete a second video with the same title or something that was created. Okay. Is Jack Frost nipping at your nose? In some places already, yes. Is Santa Claus or Christmas or whatever breathing down your neck? Maybe. Hardly, pretty much nobody watched my last video about autumn, so we're skipping ahead. But this is also a partial rebuttal to another video that I will get into in a minute. And things are a little more cluttered than usual. So I can do some Mr. Rogers kind of stuff. The funny, I guess I was just clicking on videos and there was one already about winter decoration. And so I thought, well, might as well do it now for two reasons. One, because I might as well. And two, that we'll talk about in a minute. I was watching that other video, and so I'm reading my replies to that, even though they might be slightly disjointed here. They were talking about 3 aspects of decorating, but it's kind of more only 2 for me, 1.5, I guess. And I did see a woman putting out her Christmas decorations already yesterday, the candy cane lights or whatever, while some of the houses still have Halloween stuff up, which I guess, they'll likely change or take down tomorrow or this weekend. We'll see, especially now that the wind may be over. So the first suggestion they had was something called ice punk or ice core. Yes, I am shamelessly piggybacking on their video, since they said they were shamelessly piggybacking on somebody else's video. So I don't think it's a big deal because nobody hardly watches my channel. And if you do, you probably didn't watch their channel, so you won't know. Anyway, this is when you have everything to appear like it's covered in ice and your house looks like a hip Manhattan nightclub, I guess. We'll get into that in a minute. Basically, I was assuming that nobody who watches that channel will have seen Dr. Zhivago. If you want that, you can just live in a cold climate and leave your windows open and you'll get the same effect. Or also you could take a fire extinguisher and spray down your entire house, or dry ice or something. Not really going to be talking about that holiday, even though I tried to wear a little bit the red and green that I could grab that isn't, all packed away still or whatever. Something like this, you might, these old cookie tins. I don't know what to do with these, put knickknacks in them or something. This one has a hinge, so it's not just a removable top box. Someday I'll find a use for that. This one is exactly what it says it is, an old fruitcake tin. You are what you eat, right? I've never eaten fruitcake, so I'm good to go. This one, the lid does remove all the way, but it's not very... Once you remove that plastic thing that holds it together, yeah, your results may vary. I don't know if there's something you can put along this rim or something that would hold that securely. I guess people used to put stuff like photos and things and stuff like this back before the digital age. I don't know what you could put in it now, but you could also wrap a present in it and give it to someone if you wanted to give them clutter instead of yourself. And of course, you can leave stuff like this lying around just wherever and it'll look festive. And then in January, you can feel like you've accomplished something when you declutter it all, right? You're supposed to do that in January, not leave it up year round. We've had this conversation. Nobody watched my old cabin core and other videos either. So whatever. This was an old cookie jar, believe it or not, that I've been trying to sell for years at yard sales. And all that happened is some preteen girl broke it, and now it's got a chunk missing out of it, and I don't put cookies in it. I don't really have any use for it. I'll be trying to sell it at the next yard sale before the holiday too, just to try and get rid of it. Somebody can Gorilla Glue that. I never will. This mostly collects dust in my garage for most of the year, rather than whatever I could be putting in there. Maybe socks and an underwear. What could go in this? I don't know. It takes up shelf space in the house though, and looks kind of funny out of season. So, you know, now that it's the season, I can put it on a shelf or something out in plain view and still have nothing in it. I guess you could put cookies or candy in it or something. The pumpkin doesn't have to leave yet. The pumpkin still gets to stick around for how many weeks? 1, 2, 3. Thanksgiving is 3 weeks. So the pumpkin can stay for maybe a month, maybe a little less than a month. Anyway, in that video, let me continue on. I was joking. Let's see. Nobody had seen Dr. Zhivago lately. Wrong demographic said that already. Crystal Blue Persuasion is NEIGH, my favorite song by a long shot. I could list a bunch of others. Running on Ice by Billy Joel. Trapped Under Ice by Metallica. Or, of course, Ice Ice Baby, because, yeah. Skipping a whole bunch of others. She does say Winter Wonderland, just as an homage, not as an actual mention of the song. That is my favorite holiday song. I was going to mention it. Yeah, because, you know, there's other ones. I mean, there's Rudolph's and Frosty's and all that kind of thing, but Winter Wonderland is one of the few where it's not completely childish. Of course, I'm thinking of I think it's Darlene Love version, the Spectre version. Okay, so then one of the ice suggestions was tinsel, especially decorating a tree. Of course, we don't have any tree here. My mom always poo-pooed tinsel after the 1 year when we were like 6. I was like 6 or 7 or whatever, because it was too messy. Yeah, it helps when decorating with tinsel. It helps if you're an adult and know what you're doing a bit. We had these like garlands, and the green one was my favorite. You know, you're supposed to wrap it around the tree, but my mom was cheap, so she'd only buy like 1 box of the color. Miraculously, we had like 3 colors. So the green was my favorite. And I don't even know if you can find those anymore, probably. I don't know if I'd looked hard enough. We also had gold and silver, and I think it was gold and silver. I don't think we had red. Maybe we had red. I don't remember. But they were supposed to interplay, right? But we never did that. We always just kind of started, and then when it ended, we started the next color and went up or down, however that worked out. And probably the wrong color always ended up in the middle. Yeah, most fake trees look plastic enough, and what you're trying to do here is just disguise the fakeness of them with other fake stuff, right? Because tinsel is supposed to look like icicles, but it's just tinfoil or something. And then she was illustrating about decorating with Christmas tree lights, but of course, nowadays, especially with dorm culture taking over these Instagram things, people put Christmas tree lights on everything but the tree, right? But now they want to do the fake candles on the tree, which is supposed to be reminiscent of when people used to burn their houses down with real candles, because that was convenient to have a happy holiday with a traumatic life experience all rolled into one. So you got the yin and the yang thing, you know. And also, yes, Winter Wonderland is my favorite song, but feeling cold is the opposite of feeling cozy. Okay, so here's where, and then floating candles from Harry Potter. Okay, obviously I'm not interested in that at all. Yes, cozy. As I said, I think in the cabin core video, or alluded to, or should have, the first rule of Christmas or holiday or winter decorating is get a fireplace, preferably a real wood burning fireplace. That's pretty much outlawed in California now. I know it's still already snowing in some places like Colorado or something. So you might need this as a necessity, not just a decorating design idea. But if you don't have one, you've already pretty much lost most of the game, because the fireplace is kind of, yeah, your centerpiece, even more than the tree. Because like I said, when the tree dries out and you throw it away, when you declutter your other January stuff, you still have the nice cozy fireplace and your wood and your fire and your hot cocoa and maybe your dog, unless you're a weirdo. You know, well, not everybody can have a pet in like a condo or whatever, but like if you have a place where you can burn a real fire, chances are you have a real dog or something's wrong with you. Might also want to get a horse. So then the next thing was, yes, I'm being semi-sarcastic. Winter fairy coquette aesthetic. This is clothing stuff that they are importing into their decorating idea, which didn't all look terrible, but still very girly, not really a man style thing. So you might have another one of those push and pull if you're actually cohabitating with someone who gets to make a lot of design decisions around your domicile. So something about fairy grunge and pastels with white clothing. Pastel doesn't really work for the holidays at all. This was more if you're carrying a pink purse than if you're trying. Again, if you're doing the specific holiday, there's no pastels involved. It's only primary colors. Okay. Well, I guess this green on the top, this ribbon is kind of pastel-ish, but you know what I'm saying. That's right. They just did that instead of doing. A lot of times you'll see yellow, which doesn't really work for Christmas as much, whereas this one you've got gold, which is like yellow family, but not yellow. And then, of course, here you had the whole kind of bronze thing going on, because you obviously need some kind of a background for your primary colors, understandably enough. Tan, brown, it gets muddy. Not literally, not, no pun intended with mud being brown. So yeah, it was mostly furry puffballs and throw rugs kind of stuff. Yeah, well, you can have the Irish cable sweater if you're a guy, and the matching blankie and whatever, the matching toque or beanie or whatever you call it. You can find something like that, or mittens maybe. You can get a little bit without getting, if too effeminate or whatever. That's still doable. But that's not really interior design. But since I post these design videos on my menswear channel on purpose to try and get some of you to watch them, there you go. Then she said crystal glassware. That made a lot more sense to me in the first part, in the icy palace thing. But crystal glassware is actually pretty much an Irish tradition thing. It doesn't have to just be champagne flutes. Which again, there's another holiday that we could be referencing that is winter, but is also a fake holiday if you're going by the actual solar calendar or whatever. Anyway, lace doilies and kind of snowflakes and stuff. Yeah, also kind of Irish tradition stuff there. Spray, snow, and glitter. Okay, glitter is just a mess. Don't do any of that. And that fake snow stuff looks hit or miss. Slightly better or slightly worse than that fake spiderweb stuff that the people are just getting rid of. So, if it was possible, you could reconstitute your dirty spiderwebs and try and turn them into clean fake snow now. I don't know. Spray snow, like I said, yeah, you could use a fire extinguisher and just go over your whole house and be done in probably half an hour or less. Snow globe, cute, but you can't just, well, I guess you could have like 50 snow globes or something if you wanted to get kind of borderline hoarder. We're collectors. Okay, well, not really, but some snow globes are better than others. I don't currently have any, but I might have some knick-knacky ones I think I gave them to the thrift store in the garage. So yeah, snow globes. Yeah, again, but the average snow globe is smaller than this, or you're really asking for trouble. This is about the size of most snow globes, so you'd have to really put them in a good position where people will actually see them and they won't just get overlooked or ignored. There was some discussion of Christmas tree ornaments and things. I'm skipping that because, again, this is not a holiday. I'll do a holiday video maybe later. This is a winter video, not a holiday video. But again, since I'm rebuttaling their videos and it came out almost a month too soon, I'm just having fun here. So number 3 was winter academia, which I don't have a problem with that idea since I've done other academia videos that nobody's watched or hardly anybody's watched. But have to be me. Actually, academia is kind of an oxymoron because school gets out for the holidays. So you're not actually studying in your dorm room with your dead poety friends or your Harry Potter Hogwarty friends who are off chasing ghosts or something, because you're actually home with your Muggle parents or your whatever parents, or you might be an adult and not doing that anymore, but you get the point. Or with your kids. Your kids are home. They're making a mess. They're making a racket. They're trying to make everything out of Play-Doh or whatever stupid craft thing they learned at the school with toilet paper rolls and cardboard boxes and wrapping paper. Like, you know what I'm talking about. There's nothing academic going on during Christmas for most people. Winter, though, on the other hand, yeah, we're back to school, fine. But in the decorations of the academia, not just this channel, but other channels I've seen, they mostly go for a Victorian look, which is technically also wrong for academia by half a century or whatever, because academia is really more of a 40s, 50s thing for me, like I've said before. And of course, when talking about Christmas ornaments and all this kind of stuff and decorating with books and newspapers and things, she did forget to mention like stockings and fat alcoholic Santa sitting in the, no, forget that. Yeah. One of the true holiday conventions that I do like is the stockings. Try and find some nice stockings, not the usual things that, I don't know, are just, I just have too many flashbacks of my youth where everything was kind of tacky and over the top and a little too on the nose and never, ever, ever seemed to get replaced for half a decade or whatever. And then finally you'd get some decent, things. And fortunately I still have some of them, but I don't know where they are. So I don't remember if I showed them in the previous video or not, and I can't show them now. But like I said, when I do another video of this, more topic specific, in a month or so, then I'll trot them out if I get around to it. I'm pretty sure I know where they are, and it shouldn't be an issue if I actually make a holiday-specific decorating video. That is less. Oh, and I did show, like, I had some of my ornaments in one of the videos before. I forget if this was in the nautical video or the country grandma decorating, how people mix up the beach with the beach versus nautical and don't quite understand the difference. I don't remember. And I had some other ones. Oh, here it is. Ones that I've found on my journeys. That this one's a little dusty right now. Somebody hung this on my little Charlie Brown tree, which is getting too tall for hanging stuff. But every year I go and steal 1 or 3 decorations, depending on my mood, because I know that the rangers are just going to throw them away anyway as soon as they find them. Although one year they decorated in July or August, so almost all the stuff got thrown away like immediately because it was out of season. Whereas at least during the holidays, I think they let them stay for a week or two. So this is one I've had for a while, and is the correct, again, primary colors. I don't know what that used to be on the top. There's probably a little bell or something, or maybe that was just a hook where you could hang it off a tree. I don't remember. And most of the other ones, I don't know where they are. They're in a box somewhere. So yeah, 20 minutes of me making fun of. Oh, forgot about this one. Another tin. But as long as we're doing premature winter, this one's been collecting dust. I don't know what used to be in it or what came in it. It's empty just like the rest. But I got another tin that is handy and convenient, and the lid actually stays on. Yeah, there's nothing in it. I keep expecting to find like a deck of playing cards or something, but never happens. They're all just empty when I dig them up. What else do I have lying around here that's holiday schmoliday? Holiday schmoliday, as the Boston president might say. What's that? I'm off camera for 5 seconds. Oh yeah. Yeah. Bring this up briefly too, because I forgot. She did mention tweed, but of course most tweed fabric is expensive to just throw under a tree. So I recommend, polyester tweed, or of course the tartan. You can find ways to decorate with this. This was a bow tie that I got off Amazon or something that broke, so it's not a real bow tie. So I'll probably use this fabric to make a knick-knack or something instead of trying to remake a tie out of it. Not really sure. But again, decorate with this kind of thing and you'll look festive and heritagey and all that. And when it comes to wrapping paper, some is classier than others. This is okay. If the present is for a child, if the present is for somebody adult, you might want something a little less cartoony. But you're not really decorating with this unless you're the type of person who wraps a box and puts it out like a fake present instead of something like this. And of course, that's all. Again, if we're going with primary colors, we're losing some of that dark academia thing. You have to kind of place it strategically so it's not overwhelming. Blah blah blah. And the reason I brought in this, that I almost forgot to mention also, was she was saying paint some pine cones. Well, I found, instead of the kind she had, these I'm not going to paint, but I found these unopened ones that I think are kind of autumn interesting. And I don't know if they'll open up in the warmth in the house now that the heater kind of runs at night a bit. It's running right now, which I didn't expect. It's not that cold out yet. But yeah, I found mostly in brown. And I found a nice big one, but it had a crack in it, so I had to toss it because I didn't trust what might be lurking in the crevice. I don't know where to put these or what to do with them, or if you could make these into ornaments. But at this time of the year, if you're so inclined, you could collect this kind of junk and try and find a way to string them around your tree. See, I found one that was even bigger than this, and this looks like a Christmas tree on its own. So you could actually paint this. Like I said, the one that I found that was bigger than this had a big crack in the side of it, so I didn't feel like dealing with it, but I don't know that would affect anything. So if I wanted to, I could get acrylic paint and paint these to look like Christmas trees. I'm not going to do that, of course. But again, if you have kids lying around the house with Play-Doh and making a mess and a racket and all that, and then I found a green one. This is kind of cool. It's not quite avocado, so it can be Christmas tree without requiring as much effort if I wanted to paint it, but it's also small. So you're not going to be able to make a big table thing. You could make it look like maybe a little foresty scene if you were going to, put a bunch of them on a tray or something and kind of arrange them with some super glue or something if you needed a craft idea. I don't do any DIY stuff. I really couldn't care less, but this one has a stem, so you could make that look like a fir tree, a Douglas fir or whatever. Versus these aren't spruce. I forget the kinds of trees. Anyway, yeah, you can find ones that might be bigger than that, maybe, if you're lucky. There's all sorts of different kinds of pine cones, and I don't know the names of all of those either. And I don't know if I'll do anything with these except throw them back outside. I saw a couple that looked like they were gnawed up by the squirrels or something, trying to get to whatever seeds or nuts or whatever are in there that haven't opened out yet. But they didn't get these ones. So if these ones open up, I don't know if I should leave them outside or not, because in the daytime it's still going to be warm enough. So I don't know if they'll open up or not. But if they shoot seeds all over my house, that would be weird. So yeah, I don't know how long they'll last or what they'll look like in a couple weeks when the season comes around, if I can find a way to decorate with them or not. But this is a suggestion. Take it or leave it. And okay, so that added on a couple extra minutes. What am I forgetting? I don't know. Somebody will think of something, and you can always leave questions in the comments. I'll cut it off for now because, again, I just already kind of said what I was going to say and then thought of things that I almost forgot to say. So we can come back to it next time and have fun and blah, 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 and Yuletide spirit and all that nonsense. Well, not nonsense. I don't want to be the Grinch or the Scrooge on the YouTube, but on the other hand, I'm not going to go overboard turning my whole house into Santa's elf palace either, so be forewarned. And of course, this has little to do with, actual furniture, and that kind of thing, which is a lot more complicated than just putting some lights over a fireplace or some garlands or whatever. So, which don't really need a video to explain how to do that. If you have a thing that says Happy Holidays and you put it over your thing every year, then you're probably not going to do anything different no matter what I say. So we'll see. Okay, that's about all for now.